And one more senior to talk about. This young man was one, kind of along with Brian Stanford, who after his junior year said, wrote to himself, I'm going to be a player next year. No matter what it takes, I'm going to put the time in, hit the weight room, hit the plays, and be a player. And Brian Yingling, to be honest, was not a great player last year. And he put the time in. He just wasn't. And he put the time in. He put the time in, worked his rear end off, and ended up being our starting center when the season started. And a couple weeks later, adversity hit Brian, and somebody actually beat him off for his starting job. And rather than lay down and just pass the time away the next 8-9 weeks, he picked up another whole level, his game, another whole notch, and earned his starting job back. That's the kind of player Brian Yingling is. He's a great kid to coach, a fine young man, Brian Yingling.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got rid of Kleinrock. I thought that be able to shorten this up. You guys a lot more than he did. First young man I'd like to talk about came to us, he was a San Marino student before, and then he left for a while and he came back, and he has great athletic ability. Came into a tough situation. People that had played all summer that pretty well knew what the offense and defense was about. He came in and he just did an outstanding job of trying to fit in and trying to do a job for us, and then he hurt his knee, kept coming out, kept trying to make things happen wearing a brace, and did an outstanding job for us. Our scout team was back there all the time, trying to intercept the passes, trying to make our offense better and better. Also with a great job on our special team. We're going to miss him. Sean Azadian. I don't know how Mooney ever got you doing that. You guys just come up with a bunch of Next young man is the only size we had on the team. And he did an excellent job for us. He played wherever we wanted him to play. Next year he's going to be a factor, not only on defense but on offense. I think that he could be an outstanding offensive player because it's very difficult to move. He's got good technique on all situations. He's just got to learn a little bit more about the offensive part of the game. Just an outstanding young man, works at whatever position you put him in. Did a great job this year. We're going to miss him for a while, but he's going to be back next year, and he's going to really put it together with Jesse Adams. Not a bad way to start next year, is it? That's bigger than the last 3 years. Next young man was there all summer, did an outstanding job on offense, but defense was actually his love and the place where he felt more comfortable. Didn't quite make the situation happen for himself this year, but was there on scout teams all the time, making the offense better and better, keeping us on task, making things happen. Going to expect a lot from next year. Mike Chang. Next young man came into a very difficult situation, came out late because he had been on vacation, was planned, and we were told about it beforehand. He came out late, and it's very difficult learning all offense and defense normally, but coming out late is real difficult. And he just stayed in there, did a great job on the scout team, both offensively and defensively. I don't think he had played much football before, but he became a football player this year. He's going to be a good one next year. Richard Chen. Next young man probably got yelled at. Well, won't say the most. But he was in there second or third, pretty good. He's got a lot of talent, but sometimes he seems to be someplace else. I don't mean that just mentally. Sometimes his whole body seems to be someplace else. And he's got talent, he's got dedication, he's a real team member. He makes things happen for the team, he's got a great personality, he keeps the team together. In fact, he keeps Danny laughing all the time, I don't understand it. He's got an outstanding voice, they figure he's going to be an opera star in the future. He did a great job for us. Anthony Diogo. Alias Mama. Do you understand why all the bus drivers wanted to resign? Next young man, this is one of the epitome of what I think San Marino is all about as far as his kids reaching and maybe not quite getting there exactly when they want, but he was out there all the time, banging, getting banged, playing running back, playing defensive back, playing linebacker. Finally got a hip pointer, which is a very, very painful thing, and was unable to suit up for one game, just broke his heart. But came right back the next week, and I said, he said, no, it's fine. It's all good. Stayed in there all the time with us. Just an outstanding young man, and just put his heart in everything he did, practice-wise, and any place else he was. Mike Rosenfeld. Next young man says very little. He is very little, in fact. He's got a great big heart. Very tough. He was there all summer. He worked hard. He just lacked a little bit of the speed necessary at that position, and he's getting better all the time. But he's a real hitter, as he proved this year when he got in the games, and he got in a few. South pass for one, made some great, outstanding tackles. He's an outstanding ball player. He's going to get better and better. Kevin Sidjo. Kevin's going out for wrestling now. He's Mooney's bright hope. The next young man is one of those people that you just love to have around. Because the only way you get him off the field is if you beat him with a stick. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call for, special teams, offense, defense, there he is. And he makes things happen. He's just wonderful to have around. I mean, he's the type of kid that makes people want to do other things, want to do and make things happen also. He just brings the spirit into everything. This young man just does an outstanding job. Willie Yu. Next young man is one of those people that just cannot imagine himself succeeding. And he has got tremendous athletic ability. In fact, we had to talk him into coming out. Had to have the guys go and talk to him, tell him to come out. And he came out late, which really hurt him. Then he got hurt right away, which put off another couple of weeks. And he's a real hitter. He's got one of those natural abilities to find the football, and he's going to be a dandy. He did a great job for us on offense or on defense this year, and he's going to get better and better on everything. James McLaughlin. Next young man is probably one of the most natural defensive players that I've seen in a long time. He has outstanding ability to find the football. He's tough. He's lanky. He can get to the area of the ball. He's very difficult to lose when he grabs on. He holds on. He's one of those people that you just love to have on the defense because he's a finder. He finds out where the ball is and he gets to it. Also on offense, he's got I won't say outstanding hands yet because he doesn't have outstanding hands. He's got outstanding arms, Also, he can catch it with his arms, he does a great job. That's a little difficult to get catching it up here, but that takes time, especially when somebody tries to drill it right through your face, man. But, you know, people laugh at that, but that's a real factor, you know. Danny doesn't realize that he got a little stronger this year. And a couple of passes, you know, the one official there came over to me and says, "Who the hell is he throwing that at?" I'm not true, yeah. And Danny really threw the ball hard at times, you know, and it's really surprising, you know, you just come out of a pattern, you turn, and that thing is right there, about 15 feet wide, and your natural instinct is to, you know, like the pros are supposed to reach up and snatch the ball out of the air. Well, the whole thing is you're just trying to get your head out of it. But this man young boy did a great job, and he's going to be an outstanding athlete next year. We're really looking forward to having him. Gary Seckler. I thought for this next young man that we were probably going to have to hire a team of doctors to get him on the field. First 3 weeks, we used more tape than we have in the last 3 years. We also broke our ultrasonic machine, and I mean, this was really a mess. The training room was just actually taken up by this kid all the time. I thought he was going to move his cot in there. Did a great job in the summer, and he comes back, and he's limping around every place. He said, "Well, my ankle's hurt." And I said, "Okay, let's go tape it." He said, "Well, the other one's hurt too." And it took him a while, but he just did an outstanding job. He's an outstanding receiver, outstanding defensive back, and plays a very tough position. Plays safety, which has to make some of the calls, like when we're going to rotate and so forth, call zone or man. And he really got on. It takes time. It takes a while to do this. It's experience. And he just did an outstanding job on defense, and that wide receiver, just fantastic. And he does. He has 2 bad ankles, and I hope he'll take the time to get him healed. Go to somebody that knows something about medicine. And, I don't know if he's scared of doctors or what. But he likes therapists, though. He likes
Yeah, he's always in therapy.
Did a great job. Mark one quick. Next young man is a what you'd call really for a sophomore, real physical specimen. He went out for fullback, and first couple of days when I saw him, I thought, now that kid looks like a fullback, but he don't run like a fullback. First of all, you know, he kind of could eat your lunch while he was running 5 yards. But he got faster, and he got quicker, and boy, he's tough. He does a great job. He plays defensive end for us, which is a very difficult position because you've got to take on those fullbacks about 80-85% of the time. And just did an outstanding job for us as a sophomore. And he's going to be looking good next year. Look good this year, wait till next year. Kurt House, outstanding. I don't know what kind of story you call this. I guess you'd have to call it a success story. It's more like a fantasy story. This next young man is, well, when he takes the field, most of the offensive linemen just kind of start laughing. Or at least they did that in the beginning of the year. This is actually kind of true. You see people in the beginning of the year kind of smirking, you know, the people they win against. But this young man, believe me, he's a real football player, a real defensive football player. He's got the attitude. He's got a 4.6. And I think you got to beat him for years. He never says a word hardly. He's always got a smile on his face, except when he's on the field. Just an outstanding job. Very quick, very strong, very tough, very smart defensive football player, a true defensive football player. And when you see him, this is a defensive tackle that is going against these guys 325, 290, 295. And he was not beat, believe me. The last film had 255 on him, he was not taken out. He was maybe stopped from penetrating, but he was not taken out, he was not lost ground. Ming Su, outstanding. Next young man, he got a little mad at me in the last game, and I don't blame him because that's what I did it for. Because I thought he was going to maybe start feeling sorry for himself back there when he got beat. But he's got outstanding talent. He is a real player. He understands the game. He just did an outstanding job in so many places. Wide receiver this year, defensive back. But for people that really know football, probably his most outstanding contribution was on special teams. Do you know when you don't have minus yardage on punt receiving or kickoff, that really makes a difference, especially on punt. And I would say he averaged about 20 to 25 yards on his punt return. That is really makes a difference in the situation you feel here. Just did an outstanding job. He's an outstanding receiver. Got great hands. He's a little small. His speed's getting better. He's going to get better. If he just, doesn't spend so much time in that one place on the soccer field running in the same thing. He's an outstanding athlete. Did a great job at defensive back. It's going to be something next year. Nathan Decker. He tried to be very serious. Next young man is a junior that really played last year as a sophomore, did an outstanding job last year as a defensive end. This year he brought him up, and he's one of those people that he's so very tough. And we just didn't know, honestly, if Tony could learn both the offensive position and the defensive position both. They're both very, very tough positions. He knew them as well as anybody on the team. In fact, he called the defensive formation. Did an outstanding job for us. Very, very tough. Hurt his knee in the last game. We had to take him out a few times. That really hurt us sometimes. Tony's one of those boys that just gives it 110% no matter what he's doing. He just did an outstanding job for us. He never says a word, just goes after it, tries to do the best he can every second. We're looking forward to it next year when we release that 20 of either. Tony says no speech. Next young man did not come out as a junior, and it's hard to believe that it hurt him, but it did. I'm sure it did, because he played so well this year, both offensively and defensively. Offensively as a guard, and defensively as a nose man, which is a very, very difficult position. Just did an outstanding job, as tough as anybody we ever had. Very quick, very tough, very motivated. Had a bad knee, kept getting it banged up, wouldn't stay out. Every time I'd say, get out of there, and I'd look up and he'd be back in there. Just an outstanding football player for us this year, both offensively and defensively. We're going to miss him. Greg Mann. The next young man I yelled at the most. Because you never knew what he was going to do. I mean, you might look up and he might be up in the stands. I mean, but he's a football player, I'll tell you that. I mean, he played in the place you told him to. He wanted to be a running back. He wanted to be a safety. He wanted to be a corner. He wanted to be everything, that's where he was. He was an all-league nose guard last year. Did an outstanding job. Hurt his knee in the last game, so we decided that because he hurt his knee, he should be a linebacker. That really makes sense. But he really wanted to be a safety, and that's what he practiced all summer, was being a safety and flying around. And his brilliance told me, well, that's where he should be, as a safety. He didn't make safety. He ended up at outside linebacker, which is a very difficult position because he's got to play pass and run at the same time. It's very, very difficult to do that because you've got to make a lot of reads. You've got to be able to have physical ability to make sure you're going forward. You have to be able to read it, be unbalanced, and drop off, so you pass. Just a very tough, athletic young man who loved to play and really hated to lose. We're going to miss him. Shannon Todd. Next young man has always got one of those smiles on his face. You never know what he's thinking, but you know that it's probably not very good. But he's fun to have around. He's a real player. Played both offense and defense. Played offensive tackle, defensive tackle. Was always in the middle of everything. Although we did accuse him a little bit of resting on offense once in a while. But he never rested on defense. Did an outstanding job. He's going after it all the time. Lots of sacks, single tackles. One of those boys you just love to have around because he's hard in activity. He always wants to be in there. He's never leaving the field. He's always going after it. He's always got the personality of laughing at himself and making other people help go along with it. He's a great personality and outstanding football player. We're really going to miss Eddie Shue.
On the program. Yeah, if you look on the program, they're supposed to do.
I didn't recognize the next young man, which somebody told me who he was.
S-H-A-U-I.
Because he looks right now to be about 14. All during the football season, I looked at him, he looked like he was about a 30-year-old grumpy man. He cleaned himself up tonight. I'm very proud that he would do this for you. He would do it for me, during the year. Just did an outstanding job. We decided that in the after the two losses, that for us to make something happen at that point, we were going to have to be somebody that would really attack the line of scrimmage. Not that Hero or Carlos weren't, it's just that they were maybe a little small, they weren't having the experience. And Jimmy had played fullback before, and we put him at tailback and told him, hey, we've got to have you just going downfield. And if you go saw the game, you saw an outstanding difference turnaround as far as the running attack was. Jimmy then, little by little, went back to just being a linebacker, but because we had people that could fill in there, it was awfully difficult for him. We needed him at linebacker very, very, very much. But he's one of those boys that does whatever it takes, whatever you ask him. He's a real competitor. We're going to miss him. Just did a fantastic job for us at all aspects of it. 150% all the time. Jimmy Tripodis. I'm now going to, before we go on, I'm going to give our special awards were voted on by the boys, all except the most valuable. And I'll give them to you. These are voted on strictly and only by the team. And I think they show what the team feels. And if you know these young men, you can understand that. For captains, when they took them up and get their stars, you will get your certificates tomorrow or the next day. So come up and get your stars right now. Captains voted on by their teammates. Now we had 2 captains during the year that I appointed. When they pick the captains, they vote for them completely on their own. They do not have to be the same people that were picked by me. If they felt there were other people that were better leaders or that did a better job as far as leading the team or inspiring the team, they would vote for them. Each person had 3 choices they could pick. The captains that they picked were Jimmy Tripodis, Eddie Shue, Danny Lloyd. Most improved, this is voted on by the team. It's a good thing that the coaches didn't vote on this because we probably have to give it to the whole team. Because this was the team that did improve. They were a fantastic bunch of young men that would not take no for an answer. They were not going to stay down. They were going to get I told them we had to start with small goals first and then work up to Campbell City, and that's what we did. The most improved is voted on by their own teammates. Hero Tando, Greg Matter, Tucker Saban. Outstanding defense. These are the players that they feel were the outstanding defensive players this year. Jimmy Tripodi's, Tony Avila. Now this is voted on by the coaches. This is a new one. That, excuse me, I have to blow my nose here. You know, I tell these kids all the time. I say, you know, the flu season is here. So you've got to gargle with chloroseptic and what's this stuff? Listerine. I said, you got to swallow some. Make sure that that throat gets all squashed out there. And I know they didn't do it this year simply because they could all give me cold. If I had it 3 weeks, won't go away. But this was an award we caught this year, and we're going to call it the most inspiration. For the player that we feel that might not have been on the field of play as far as the games are concerned, but who was there all the time when you needed him, when you needed somebody, was always there giving it his best, doing the best job he possibly could on every aspect. And this young man, I think, epitomized what this award means. Most inspirational, Willie U. Yes.